Good morning. I saw that the American president has sent his guy. I never remember his name though. But someone from the United States is headed towards Russia, and that they also wanted him to come. However, in the past, when he has been in Russia, the Russians seem to be like wanting him to spend money on Russia, or they wanted him to. He has a lot of money, this guy. And I think I got this from Joey, I think his name is, on TikTok. And they want him to kind of invest in Russia. The book I'm reading right now is kind of pointing towards that the Russians have that mindset that you should, if you want to deal with the Russian government, you're also investing in the Russian government. It's an old thing, and it's kind of wild. This book is wild. It's so much money. Like every company that is spoken about in this book, it's a lot of money. I don't know if everything is factually correct. It's more so a story about the people around the Russian president and how it works in Russia and how they kind of built this system. And for me, it's weird because in Sweden, it's like the opposite. We wouldn't, if we did what the Russians do, it would be illegal here. So, but for them it works, apparently. I do find it sad, I guess, because as I continue, it's a very heavy book. I think it's like 24 hours in total. So I usually listen to it while I'm walking my dog. So I take 1 hour at a time. But with all that money that is from these companies, from the resources, from that these few people seem to either just take away from the country or grab for themselves or whatever friend they have or whatever. Like they kind of make these friend companies that kind of takes over or buy something for like $1 when it's worth 1 trillion. I'm like being like too much now, but it's almost like that. Someone just mysteriously die, and then the company is kind of shifting hands, and it's a lot to take. In that book, the author says that someone, I can't remember their name, said that Putin had some guy working in the government that never seemed to get rich. And eventually he thought that was strange. Like, why isn't this guy like making business? Because when you deal with the government, you should make business. You should, like, if you have a government position, you should make business. You should like take for yourself. That is highly illegal in Sweden. I'm like, wow, that's wild. You are supposed to trust the government that you will not make business out of your own comfort. Like, yeah, if you do, I know, like bribery, because I learned that with IKEA. I think they wanted to get into Russia, and everybody was like a whole thing. Everybody wondered why it takes so much time, and what I remember from that story, this is a while ago, is that the Russian way of doing stuff is bribery. Like, you need to bribe your way through the system. And in Sweden, that is illegal. So IKEA had a problem too. And it just dawned on me, but that is a lot of Swedish companies in Russia. Maybe not today, but they were there. And how did they get all their, like, you know what I'm getting at? So someone has done something that they shouldn't have done a while ago. I know H&M were in Russia. I know IKEA is or was, but yeah, that was interesting. And just reading this book into some kind of like waving it into this story. So this guy, the Russians they want to continue that kind of a dialogue. The thing is, it needs to end. That is why Putin has a purpose, and I'm trying to kind of understand what it is. I don't think he knows what it is. He kind of lost his way, and he does all the wrong things, I might add. And he started off good, and they think that after 4 years he wanted to kind of step out of the presidency, but he was too involved. And kind of listening to how it works, that makes sense, to be honest. I think you end up in like a web of stuff you shouldn't be in just by being in the position that he was, if that makes sense. It just how it worked, and then it just hold on for their life. I think he started off as a much softer person, speaking in a certain way, because that is how they kind of describe him in all the books. That kind of goes back to how it all started. And then after those 4 years, something happened along the way, and I think his purpose was to actually, because he did clean a lot of stuff up, and he should have continued to do that, like in the best way he could. We have heard about pretty hard, like criminally corrupt countries where the presidents just went in and he didn't give enough. I can't remember which country it was, and he just cleaned it up, and now it's one of the most safest countries in the world. And he was supposed to kind of do that. He eventually lost his way. What I've figured out is there is a lot of money that has been going out of Russia, and that is depleting the country, obviously. He has started a lot of wars, which cost a lot of money. What he actually wants is to build Russia up again. He has done everything like wrong. That is not how you build your country. I'm not sure how, I want to find like a book, how a really good economy kind of works, because I don't see anybody having that like figured out, to be honest. Everybody seems to struggle quite a lot with debt or anything else like attached to finances or like economy or something. This guy is coming to Russia. The American guy is coming to Russia, and this mindset is still very much printed in to the Russians. it's going to go well. It's just that it's not going to be like, yeah, it's peace or something tangible. It's going to be, this guy is going to have to kind of see the signs, feel the change, even if it isn't factual or in numbers or in. Putin is kind of waiting on something or on someone or another person kind of stepping forward, or some kind of shift, or he is like, yeah, no, we can hang out. He's going back to how he used to be the 4 years in the beginning. It is a strategy, but it also is, he used to be like this. So we're going to get to see him like this. And it's not easy to just, if you have been becoming more aggressive, or if you have had a specific rhetoric moving through your presidency, and then you have to remember who you were in the beginning. It's not easy. That is why it can be like come off as strategic. It's, you know, when they say you need to be it before you are it, or is it, or whatever. It's not fake it until you make it. It is just, you need to practice being this person, and that can come off as a performance. He should not be fake. He should not be gonna creating some form of false narrative of companionship, relationship. There is no anyone that is like wanting to gain more, wanting to gain something from this visit is going to fail. It is a building of trust, it's a building of honesty, it's a building of, okay, I'm showing you who I am. That is pretty much what this visit is. It has absolutely nothing to do with Ukraine. It has nothing to do with the war. It has nothing to do with the relationship between Putin or Trump. Putin and Trump. It has to do with Russia is kind of shifting and changing. And the Russian president has started to shift and change, started to kind of find his purpose. As he said himself in one of the shorts I was looking at, when you get bored with something, you need to, like, I've already seen that, here is something else. And I think that is what is going to shift the Russians from seeing any kind of that the war in Ukraine is something to go towards. However, they need some kind of a win, and I don't know exactly what that win is. He says something, I don't know if he can get that. I'm not so sure what everybody is standing right now, to be honest, because this retrograde, if everybody has done their job, they're supposed to reevaluate where they stand, how they want to move forward next week. And then we are like, after the retrograde, we have 2 weeks of it moving forward, but it's still, it's like revisiting stuff, but in a forward movement still. And we will not see tangible results. It's like, I asked my AI if this, according after all our readings and talks and what we know about everybody and what we know about the countries, and the question I'm asking is this war going to end soon? And my AI said that the seeds of planting for it to end is being put down right now. And people have to kind of do the work for it. Nothing of it is going to come easy. It's a shift in like perspective and what you want out of it. It's a reevaluation of your position, the country's position. It's war often kind of ends of exhaustion, diplomacy, and uncomfortable compromises. Like it hurts. It's not war usually don't end with brutal force, or we're going to beat you down, or we're going to like have a victory grander than anything. It usually ends with, yeah, no, everybody is tired now. We need to find a balanced resolution here, and we need to compromise on stuff. And that is why I think Europe needs to kind of step in now. It needs to join the conversation. The Americans, I'm so grateful for the Americans. They show that they actually do care. Europe, I don't know, maybe like behind closed doors they do. It doesn't come up like in the, so we see it. And I think Ukraine has done an amazing job. He can't end this alone though. He's not going to win. That is not how wars end. He is not going to go, I know they are moving into Russia and it's like drones and stuff. That is not going to end it. And I think like people need to accept that and move forward from that mindset. And also accept help in another way. Like, I know they need guns, they need to kind of hold forth, like hold everything back, and but they are not going to win, so they need Europe. I'm not budging from that. And when it comes to the Russian president, I did a reading this morning and I was just okay. He has one person that he is listening to, like one person. He tested, he finds that person is telling the truth. They're honest, clear-minded, sharp, good at giving advice. They know what they're doing. You can't fool them. You can trust what they're saying. They are not for either side. And just in general, like when that person speaks, I listen. It's what I got from that reading, and it's a woman. It is a woman that he has decided, go through her if you want to speak with me. And that was kind of interesting, to be honest, that he so strongly attached his, she's like a filtration of BS. Like, if the outer world, if the West gives a perspective of, yeah, this, she kind of filters through it, and then she gives the Russian president, yeah, no, this is the truth of all of that. She's like, you think internet, and you have like a computer or like an intelligence of some sort that filters through like all of it, and then it gives like a summary, or it gives like the truth. She can read like people, she can read documents, she can read like anything, and either she says yeah, no, nothing of this is the truth, or she finds some kind of truth in it, then she kind of question it, or she kind of picks what is, yeah, I hear what you're saying, that is not the real issue here, what is the real issue here, and she kind of brings that to him. He kind of, when I just see like a bunch of like documents or people saying stuff or interviews, or people wanting to like talk to her, and all of that like goes through this woman, and then she just have a summary of like 5 pages that Putin can like read or listen to, or and he knows that this is 110% the absolute truth in what she is capable of doing, obviously. Like she has filtered down, and even if there is some slight like she doesn't know yet, or there's something there, but she can't like really get into it or something, he kind of brushes that off as, yeah, no, we figure that out eventually, or so. So he is starting to, and that is going to be more so like, yeah, no, go through her, I'm not listening to you, go through her. And people are going to probably be annoyed at first. It's like beneath them, I guess, to have to go through her. I just feel like a like slight annoyance, like, who does she think she is, or do we? But they are going to have to, because this war is not going to be won at all by guns. And yeah, this was like I didn't see this coming, to be honest. It's interesting for someone like him that doesn't trust people to be that, like, he has one person that he trusts, and that's her. I don't think the people around him are, according to my books, they are very Russian. Like, this is how we do things, with how they, people disappearing and stuff. You have a tendency to get yes people around you. You have a tendency to, people don't always tell you the truth because they are afraid of you not wanting to hear them. I don't think this woman cares if he wants to hear them or not. I don't think she is like only for Russia. I think she is just for the truth. This is like the brutal honesty. And that is rare for someone in his position. I think he went into this war with a false narrative that he doesn't know how to kind of rewrite. I have said all of this. I have done this because I thought this. And to say that the West doesn't do propaganda, that the West doesn't lie, or that is not really correct either. And obviously, I'm European, I'm Swedish. I know my continent quite well. And to say that we are flawless, yeah, we're not. We're not, might not be as what the Russians are. Maybe Italy. I'm gonna touch on that, but we are like accepting that. I do think the Russians need to change from within. It starts with the Russian president. He's starting to, but it's like a tiny seed, and it will not be enough for the rest of the world, because they want this to end, and they want this to end in 5 minutes, and it's that is not going to happen, which the Russian president has said, and no one is listening. No one is doing anything. Like, you have to start work with this. It is a real possibility for this to end. Not this year probably, but it is the beginning of the end, if everybody actually do the work, if they start to kind of want it. And as I said, exhaustion, diplomacy, and uncomfortable compromises is what usually ends war. So start to realize or accept what you actually can compromise about, and what kind of diplomacy you want to have with Russia. And exhaustion is just going to become more of, you're going to be bored, tired. It's like, and we want to shift. I want to shift towards how we build up. Like, how can we make Russia like the fantastic country that it has the potential. Like, there's so much money in that country. It's just insane. And all I've heard is these yucky people like grabbing it and then moving to France or England or whatever. And that's not how you build a country. That is not how you that is how you leech of it. It's no, it's an interesting book for sure, and I do hope that I find some information how you can move forward from it. Obviously the war is costing a lot of money, and it's hard times right now in general, but everything can change if we actually wanted to. I think this is it. This is what I want to talk about today.